My name is Perry and I live in a little cottage in North Wales. After living 10.5 years on a narrowboat, I create lampshades, weave and do lots of other crafts, and I have a gorgeous transit van that I converted into a camper called Tilly Teacup, and I often go on travels with her, and this is my life in a teacup. Hi peeps, how are you? I'm just making a cup of tea. Got my favourite baggy jumper on this morning. Oh, here we go. Right. It's been a couple of weeks, I think. I usually try and do these vlogs every couple of weeks, but it may just be over. There's a reason for that, and I'll tell you in a bit. But first of all, I just wanted to say thank you so much for all the likes and the shares and the subscribers. And if you're new to the channel now, today, thank you so much. A lot of my subscribers do take time. And thank you, I don't know how you do it, but thank you so much. Mind you, I do it as well. If I subscribe to someone, I like to see what's brought them to this point. So a lot of my subscribers do watch the back catalogue of my vlogs. So if you take time to do that, and I know a lot of you do, so I'm just looking for a spoon. Oh, there we go. Thank you so much for that too. So, I'm very happy. I seem very happy, and I'm fine, though I do have some bad news. As you know, I think just shortly after I loaded my last vlog, my father died. Now, he was 92, and you know, I'd said before, I think, that he'd been very ill. And basically, he was bedridden, and it had come to the point that he couldn't even speak. We could hardly understand him, bless him. And also, sorry, I've gone off camera there. And also, yeah, I'm sad because he's died, because he was a very strong man, a very proud Cypriot, but at the same time, as you know, we weren't that close. So whilst I sort of stand and think, oh my God, you know, I'm an orphan now, I've got no parents, I'm not as affected by it as much as, say, my niece, who was very close to him. She was very, very close to him. And even my brother, who had come home from France specifically, to look after my dad for the last weeks of his life, and my brother did a fabulous job. So this footage that's on here, it's going to be lots of little snippets, because there's some of us on the beach in Bigbury, me and my niece, and my brother. My niece is my brother's child, my brother's daughter. We'd gone down to our favourite places as children, Bigbury-on-Sea in Devon and all of that sort of stuff. Just to just be together and remember. And so there's little bits of that, and I went up to Llandudno, and there's a little bit, so it's going to be a little bit bitty, this one, but it'll all be little different bits. So what to say? One thing, this is going to sound like I'm prioritising a dinner service over the death of my father, and I'm not. And my friend Kath and Gail, they know the story of this dinner service, and I'll tell you about it in a minute. Kath said to me when this happened, what did she say? At last I can die peacefully, knowing that you've got your dinner service. I'll show you. If you followed me and subscribed for quite a while, you'll see when I first moved into this cottage that I have this. It's called Mason's Green Fruit Basket. Okay, so there's the soup tureen, and there's that, and oh, here's a soup dish. I'm just putting away some of it off the draining board that I washed up last night. I've got this habit, I wash up everything from the day, I wash up at night before I go to bed, and I let it drain, and then in the morning I put it away. It's just what I do, but at least I don't leave dirty dishes in the sink before I go to bed. So this dinner service I collected, and this is where I keep it. So that shelf there is my dinner service. You can see the green bits there, and there's little bits here as well. You are getting to know the inside of my life, my cottage. I started collecting this in the 70s, oh, for God's sake, that long ago. Come on, let's go inside. And I can go and sit down and have a cup of tea. I should just prop you up. Hold on a second. I'm in my lovely chair. Yes, so this dinner service, like I said, I started collecting it in the 70s, and with my second husband. I've had two, that's all, just two. Some long relationships and 2 marriages. But yeah, so I started collecting it, and it was, I don't know, in those days, it mattered to me. It really mattered to me that this thing that I was collecting was all important. So when my ex-husband and I split up, that was one of the things I took, was a dinner service, because it meant more to me than it did to him. So I took the dinner service, and then when I went to live in Crete for 7 years, I put the whole dinner service in a rucksack, and I took that with me. Because I'd gone with nothing, and one day I'll tell you the story of that, but I'd gone with nothing, and every time I flew home, just in suitcases, I bought something back. So on one visit home, because my parents had because I'd sold my house to go, and my parents were storing everything, as parents do, and I put it in my rucksack, took it back. Now, after a big blow up with my boyfriend at the time there, I decided to come home to England. So it came back with me, rucksack on my back, all the other bits and pieces, and I came back to England. And then after a couple of months, I decided to go back, so the rucksack goes on my back with my dinner service. Never mind about any clothes, just my dinner service. And back I go to Crete. And of course, after 7 years, eventually, I did come home to England for good. And yeah, my dinner service came with me. Now that was in when did I come home from Crete? 1992. So I didn't really have anywhere to live at the time. I was staying with a friend until I found a place, because I literally landed. I'd got a job. I'd sorted the job out before I came back. I got the job, but I was sort of living on a friend's settee while I was looking for somewhere. And so dinner service goes back down to mum and dad, who were in Devon, as you know, and I was in London at the time. So then I find a place to live. Dinner service comes back with me. And then at some... No, I tell a lie, I'm lying. The dinner service didn't come back with me. It went down to my mum and dad's, and it stayed with my mum and dad until my dad died. And the reason for that was my mum had this lovely big Welsh dresser, and she absolutely adored it. And she liked the service, and she loved... So she displayed it in there, mine on one shelf and hers on another. So she displayed it in there with the tureen and everything, and they kept it for me all those years. So like I said, I came back in 92, took it back down there, and I used to see it obviously, but I didn't use it or have use of it again until I moved in here. As you know, I'd had a few pieces, and I think I said at the time that Dad, there was quite a bit missing. A lot of the plates were missing and cups and things, though I had the big lovely pieces, and I thought, well, and Dad couldn't remember what happened to it, and he thought maybe he'd broken them when he was doing something, he moved the cabinet and it fell over and blah, blah, blah. So I, like I said, that was many weeks ago when I went down to see Dad, and we sort of talked about it. I mean, he had said to me a couple of years ago, why don't you just take it home? Why don't you take it? But after Mum died, because Mum died 12 years ago, I didn't want to sort of raid the cupboard, raid the dresser, because it would have looked empty, and because Mum wasn't around, and Mum and Dad had split up when Mum died, but it was still maybe taking another piece from Dad if I did that, another memory of Mum, because she loved it so much. And whilst, like I said, Dad and I did not get on, especially in later life, and I had a very hard childhood. And because I didn't see him very much over the last 10 years, I can talk about him without getting a bit upset. I mean, obviously, I'm upset. My father has died. But I don't need to explain. People that feel like me will completely understand me. Some of you might think I'm being really cold, but honestly, I'm not. It's sad that he's gone. And he's taught me everything I know, and I'm very grateful for that. And I'm very proud of the Cypriot heritage that he has given me. I'm just not, so we'll leave it at that. Bless him. So yeah, so the dinner service. So when Dad died, I went down, and the day he died, I went down, though he'd already gone by then. And my brother was rooting around in Dad's bedroom, and under the bed, he found the rest of my dinner service. Oh, the joy. I mean, my dad had just died. Obviously, I wasn't joyful then, but yeah. once things had settled down and everything, and I packed it away and I brought it back here, and you saw those plates in the cupboard and I put it away. Oh, the joy of my dinner service. How for someone who is no longer materialistic, and I used to be, there's just something about that dinner service, and it's a bit of a standing joke actually with my friends. So yes, I'm happy I've got the complete set. It's back now, and I threw all my old broken plates away because I'd had them for years. There was chips and things, and they were discolouring white. They were white from Habitat, and I'd had them 30 years or something. So yes, that's the story of my dinner service. Now, what have I been doing? Well, again, up and down to Devon and bits and pieces to do. I think you know all about the chair. You saw that in the last vlog, and I'm sitting in it, and it's lovely. And I am going to, I don't know if I've shown you this, and if I have, because I never look back at the vlogs to see what I've talked about. But somebody on one of the vlogs, on my last vlog, I think it was, mentioned, why didn't I make... I'm sure I've spoken about this before. I'll check in a minute and come back and tell you. But I'll tell you now anyway what I'm going to tell you. So one of my subscribers, I actually know her. She's an old friend. And she said to me when I was talking about getting a footstool, why didn't I get one of the cardboard boxes and make a footstool out of that? So I went outside because I'd broken all the cardboard boxes that the chair came in, and I'd gone outside and retrieved them. Now, it had been raining, not that much, but one of them on the corner had got a little bit wet, but I salvaged it, dried it out, and it was fine. So look at this. Can you see that? Right? I've done all the edges. Where are we? Yeah, there. And if you can see this brown strip here, these were on the inside. So I've taped them to the box, and so like kick corners, if you like. So I've taped them to the box, and, oh, let's put you back away so like that. I'm going to paint it. I'm going to, I'm getting a bit hot in this scarf. I'm going to maybe do a little bit of decoupage on it or something on the sides. And then I'm going to get a nice piece of foam, cover it in fabric, and that's going to be my footstool. So we'll see. And the other thing is, it's not really changed, but I've decided to do, let's see if you can see that. Can you see the lampshade in the corner there? That's one of the lampshades that I made. And I quite like it actually, excuse me, ladies and gents. There you go. I quite like that. That actually was a mistake. There's something wrong with it, so I can't sell it. And I was going to rip it apart and sort of start again. And I thought, oh no, look, sorry. Like I said, the ins and outs of my life now. I think that looks rather nice with the colours and the cushions that are already on the chair. So yes, I don't know if you can see it. I don't know if on the settee, I don't know if you can see. I'll just keep it there. I'm not going to zoom in, but there's a definite stain. I knocked a cup of coffee over it the other day, or the whole cup of coffee. So I know the stuff that you can get to, to clean it. So that's one of my jobs for next week. It's getting that stain out. It looks terrible. It looks like I've peed on the settee, but I can promise you it's coffee. So yeah, so that's that. Bit of exciting news that's happened this week. A couple of weeks ago, I went to Llandudno, and the reason I went there was to look at something. It was a cafe that rents part of the space out for craft fairs and artisan fairs and things like that, and I wanted to see what it was like. Yes, it was a nice cafe. It was a nice cafe, and I am considering doing it. It's like a Christmas Christmas artisan fair. So I'm thinking of doing it, but I'm still trying to make a decision. But when I left, I popped in, I saw this lovely interior shop. It's called Lister's Interiors. And I went in to talk about whether they would, be interested in taking lampshades. So I went in. Luckily for me, the owner was there. was a rather handsome man, I have to say. But anyway, that's by the by. So the owner was there, and I chatted to him briefly. And whilst I was there, I asked him, could I take a, that I had a tiny little YouTube channel, and I like to put where I've been. Could I video around the shop? So that's going to go up as well. But in a very brief chat, I said I'd email him to discuss the lampshade. So came back, emailed him. We set up an appointment, which I went on Friday. Now I'd also had an appointment on Friday in a place called Conwy. I don't know if anybody has ever been to Conwy in North Wales. Oh, it's beautiful. Now, I have been before, but it was about 30 or 40 years ago. And I'd forgotten what it was like. Oh, it's so pretty. If anybody wants a weekend away or a day out, if you're living in the UK, go to Conwy. It's lovely because it's got a castle. It's got like castle walls that go all around. And whilst not a great deal to do, it's just a place that you would enjoy wandering around, looking at all the independent shops. There's lots of lovely independent shops, nice little cafes. I'm sure you can go on the castle walls and the castle you can visit and that sort of thing. And you've got the hills on one side and the sea on the other. So it's a seaside resort as well. But it's lovely, and I would recommend it. So if anybody wanted to go, going back to this shop. So I had my appointment there at Lister's. Whilst I was there, I'll show you. Because something else I make as well is candles. Oh God, honestly, I'm like blinking. What do you call it? I can't think of the name that you'd give me because I fiddle around with all sorts of stuff. So I thought, now he does candles, so I made these little tin candles. What's that one? I've got my glasses on. Oh, cinnamon and white ginger. Look, see, there's my candles. And this one, I don't know why it's like, you need smell-o-vision for this, don't you? Because I'm going, that smells lovely. But they do. That one's green tea and mint. And I just keep the labels and the packaging. There you go. Very simple. I showed him those and he liked them. He wasn't that keen on the shades, and that's fine because they have their price points with things, and because I hand make these are always going to be more expensive than if he's bought them from a production line or something. And he goes overseas to buy. These are all big. Well, you'll see on the vlog the sort of things that he sends when I attach it. But he did say, I mean, I know at this time of year, having been in retail before and having been a buyer before, I know that at this time of the year, all retail shops have done their ordering for the winter months and of course for Christmas. Oh, sorry, look at my nails. Just noticed that then. Nice colour in it. Ooh. But yeah, look at that. Terrible. Oh, sorry. Didn't mean that. Yeah, so he said that they don't take lampshades only, that they take a completed lamp and base. So he hasn't poo-pooed it. What he said was if I go back next year, because they're full of this, their stock is full now. They've got all their orders coming in for the rest of the season up to Christmas, and that's what happens in retail, especially in sort of soft furnishings, interiors and gifts and things like that. So I'm going to go back in the new year with a couple of shades and bases, and he did like the candles, so I'm going to take some candles back. In Conwy, there's a shop that I'm going to do my weaving for. She would like to take some, so that was quite positive. On the way back, I was a little bit deflated, I suppose, because I just thought to myself, I wish I'd got I wish he'd ordered, because he's got 3 shops, I wish he'd ordered something. But, we'll see what happens in the future. So I didn't have anything in for dinner, because I was also going to go shopping, and I couldn't be bothered, so I didn't go. But I passed a farm shop that I know. It's an estate called Rhug, spelled R-H-U-G, Rhug Estate, only down the road from me. And they breed buffalo. I might have mentioned them before. I think Kath and I went for lunch there once. And I thought, I'm going to get myself something nice for dinner. So I popped in to the farm shop. And you know what farm shops are like? They're so expensive. Spent a ridiculous amount of money. But while I was there is a fabric shop there. Though it's mainly dressmaking and small pattern fabrics for patchwork and things like that. But I went there and met this lovely woman called Amanda who owned it, and it's called Amanda's Fabrics. So again, anybody in the area wants a nice little fabric shop, Amanda's Fabric Shop on the Rhug, R-H-U-G estate, and it's just outside, it's outside Brithin. best place, but if you Google it, you'll find it. Some people may already know, especially if they're living in Wales, they know where it is. So I go in and see Amanda and we start chatting, and she runs courses and all of this. And I told her I made lampshades and I was looking for some unusual fabric, and that's why I was in the shop. And she actually said to me, did I run courses? And I said, well, I have done workshops, not in lampshade making, but I've done like my gel plate printing and things like that. And she said, would you run a lampshade workshop? I said, hell yeah. So I'm going to run some lampshade workshops. I mean, obviously there's all the finite details to do and things like that, and I might try and get one in just before Christmas, we'll see. But definitely in the new year. So I'm going back on Wednesday to see her. We're going to talk logistics and costings and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, so that was exciting news. So the back end of this fortnight has been nicer news than the beginning of the fortnight, which marked the death of my dad. So he died on the 14th of September at about 7 o'clock in the morning. And like I said, he was 92. And he, even in the bits that he could say, he wanted to go because he had no life. He slept most of the time and he couldn't get out of bed. And to see this man go from, even in his 90s, he was still quite strong. I mean, only at the beginning of this year, on a little stick, he took himself to France to see my brother. You know, and there's pictures of him. He'd grown his hair long and he'd got a big beard. He looked like blinking Santa Claus. And he's very thin. And when he died, he was extremely thin. But even in these pictures. But we went to Cyprus with him 2 years ago. He asked, when he knew he was ill, he asked us to go, me and my brother, to go back to Cyprus with him. So we went to Cyprus. We took him to Cyprus and we had a lovely time. You should see him. I used to say to him, Dad, will you slow down? I couldn't keep up with him. But he said, because he was walking with a stick, he felt if he walked fast, he could gain his balance more. It was really strange. But yeah, and after that, he went to France. And then again, at the beginning of this year, I think it was January, he went to France again, all on his own. You know, my niece took him to the airport. He gets on pass him through departures. Someone comes and makes sure he's okay. He gets up the steps. He wouldn't get in a wheelchair. He goes up the steps all on his own, holding everybody up probably. Yeah. So to his last capabilities, he did stuff which was good, really. So yeah, happy fishing wherever you are, Dad. And that's what I'll say. I think that's about it, really. As always, I'll attach bits to this. If I've forgotten anything to tell you, because there's been more, I'm sure there's been more that's been going on the last fortnight, maybe I'll tell you next time. And if I've repeated myself, especially about the footstool, I apologise. I'm going to check back now and see. I haven't even had a sip of this. It's cold. So, guys, all the best to you. Take care of each other. And do keep subscribing. Do keep watching. And if there's anything you want to know about me, ask the question. Not always answer, mind you. May not always tell the truth. Yeah, I will. Yeah, I will answer to the best of my ability. So, yeah, I'll see you guys. This is Burr Island at Bigbury-on-Sea, and this is where we went every year for our annual holiday. And just round the corner is Chalabra Beach. The wind was horrendous, so I'll leave you with the next couple of clips so you can just listen to the wind. From South Devon to the very tip of North Wales, this is Llandudno. It's an historic Victorian town and it has the longest pier in Wales, beautiful seafront, big Victorian promenade around the seafront, and a lot of its buildings, as you can see, the high street here is quite long, and it's got these, I don't know what they're called, like the pavilions that overhang the shops. And there's a word for these that you see here, and further up they're very colourful. So I'll leave you to enjoy the scenery. Across the road here is the Provedero, and this was the cafe that I wanted to go to, and here is the cafe inside. Next door to the cafe is another building that belongs to them in the very same format, and that's the place that's going to house the fair if I decide to do it. Then a couple of doors down, I found myself in Lister's Interiors. This is a shop I was telling you about. I just loved the ambience of it. Not everything was to my taste, but it had a really lovely feel, and it did make you want to buy, because I actually bought something. I bought a little jug vase type thing, and they have a shop in Shrewsbury and Chester. And no, I'm not being paid for this, but I just liked it and wanted to share it with you. Then back out into the sunshine, and I was greeted by this host of colours. All these fabulous, I just love the colours of all those buckets and spades. It just reminded me of my childhood at Bigbury Beach. Then I came across this chap. No, I haven't got anything to eat. Go away. This is the beach and Victorian promenade that surrounds the coastal edge of Llandudno. And as you can see, it goes round in a semicircle to the beautiful Grand Hotel, the old Victorian hotel there, and the pier, and of course the wheel that most resorts have these days. There we have some Welsh hills in the background, and you've got the sea on the other side. Lovely place to visit, and I will leave you there, say goodbye. And oh, by the way, I didn't talk about the footstool in the last vlog. See you soon, guys.